rolling again.
You know, it's funny you say that. I think, it's being here in January and then going through spring ball and then summer access and, all these meetings and stuff. It's like, okay, finally there's something like, obviously we've been working towards fall camp and towards the season, but now it's here. So the excitement is really just seeing all the work that we put in over the course of these months come to fruition as we hit the field on Wednesday.
What are the goals for you in terms of the running back room going into camp?
I would say, me and you were just kind of chatting about it, it's just making sure we build depth. Obviously, we know what George brings to the table. We have a sense of what Ashton can bring to the table. Tyler Crowe has been on in a limited capacity, just moving Caden Dudley over from the receiver room, and then having, a couple freshmen. We really are just trying to build depth, and I think that goes with getting some of the guys that you wouldn't traditionally see out there, Ashton or, Tyler Crowe, and then maybe even Caden Dudley and the freshmen, getting those guys a couple more reps than usual, just so we can kind of build that little bit of playing experience as we go through fall camp. That'd be my goal initially for the room.
Behind George, he's had the last couple of years missed some time, and you had some, or the team, you weren't here, but you had some capable veteran guys to go in there, and you don't really have that right now. Are you concerned at all behind George with what you have, or?
No, I think you go into it with confidence and continue to build. Like I said, coming out of spring ball in the summer, I feel good about what Ashton's been able to show. I feel good about what Tyler Crowe's been able to show. Caden Dudley just got into the room. Same thing with the two freshmen. So, for me, now, let's be honest, let me go back. Of course, everybody wants a bunch of veteran guys that know what they're doing, so I'm not saying, we're great. I'll have a great feeling, but I will say this, I'm not worried. I think at the end of the day, with the mindset, the mentality that we have on this team, the mindset, mentality we have on the offense and in the running back room, these guys are going to step up, and we'll be excited to have these guys stride and get us ready as we go through the 2022 season.
It sounds like there is a plan, or there will be a plan to make sure George is, in bubble wrap or whatever, so he's ready to go against Oregon State. How do you look at his importance to this offense and whether or not he needs a lot of reps in fall? And obviously, I think it's well documented when he's out there on the field, this offense is pretty good.
Yeah, I think he definitely is important to this offense. I think he is one of those guys that is an ultimate playmaker, a guy that goes out there and gives his all. I think for us during camp, it is going to be important for us to manage and make sure we take care of him, keep him healthy, and make sure we don't run him into the ground. There's just, he's a veteran guy. There's some reps he doesn't need to take. But at the same time, there's certain instances where he has to be ready to go, situations that he has to be ready to play. But I think when we're talking about adding depth to our room, understanding about getting other guys in there so we can take a couple of those hits and a couple of those carries off of George throughout the course of fall camp.
We saw what he did as a freshman, come in, rush for 1,000 yards. He started the season third on the depth chart. When he's if he can play a healthy 12 games, how good can George Solani be?
He's special. He's strong. He has really good change of direction, good vision, catches the ball well out the backfield. He has a great football mind. The sky's the limit for the kid if he can go through a healthy 12 games. And I'm not even just saying that because he's in the room. I think you watch him, you watch the course of his workload, like you said, when he is healthy, and you put on the film, this dude is a dynamic player and can change a game.
How hard was that, losing a running back right before camp? And I guess you already had planned, right, to move Dudley over, or did that just happen in the last couple of days then? Or
it was kind of I don't even say it was already planned. It happened once we knew we were losing a guy. That happened.
Was that just I know what you guys felt about Tyler's role coming in, but just anytime you lose you don't have a huge room, then you lose a guy 2 days before camp. I know he wasn't going to be the starter, but what did that do to all of a sudden here you are having to switch a guy 2 days before camp and stuff?
You just lose. I would say this: you just lose somebody that kind of has been in the system, has been in the room, has a great feel for the chemistry, the charisma of the room, and you didn't have to do a lot of. Now, all these guys are getting better, right? But now you're kind of taking 3 steps back with a guy because now you only have George, you have Ashton, you have Tyler Crowe. And now here's a brand new guy that you got to move into the spot and continue to kind of move and push him up. So it's a big hit.
How much did it help Ashton to be able here for the spring and summer and for you to see what he can do in the spring and summer? And what do you see his role being?
I think that's I will say this: we're fortunate that he was here in the spring, especially with kind of how this ended up right before fall camp. I would say this: his role is going to be whatever he makes it as he makes his way through fall camp. Always with a freshman, you're trying to build consistency. I think his work ethic is there, but I want to make sure he continues to build on the details of understanding the position and going out there and operating. Ashton is a special player, and I'm really excited to see how he grows over the course of fall camp.
I know you weren't here last year, but I'm sure you watched all the games. I mean, just the running game struggled early in the year, got better as the year went on. What did you see, or what's the staff seen that you guys feel like that can be built on from the way it finished? And I know you haven't practiced yet, but having a couple of guys added to the line in terms of KHG and Beresford. I mean, do you feel like the running game has a chance to be much better this year?
Yeah, I'm glad you prefaced it. I mean, I wasn't here. I don't know the whole dynamics of any of that stuff, but what I will say this: I feel good about our plan going into fall camp. I feel good about how we are trying to coach and build and develop confidence. I like the schemes that we're putting in, and I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to a consistent mentality and a consistency of execution as we work our way through these 31 days of camp.
In terms of the special teams, who's dealing with the special, like the punter?
So that's me and Coach Papinga.
Okay.
Pop is probably doing a little bit more as far as working with those guys, but we both are working with them.
What do you make of that battle there? And I don't know if they bring in a guy from Australia that I think a lot of people like, but I mean, you had a guy that's been here a couple of years too. What do you make of the punter battle?
I think it'll be good. I'm excited. Obviously, it's been kind of spring ball, you only do so much when it comes to your team stuff. During the summer, you only do so much. But now, as we starting to tighten up the ratchet, as we get ready for the games, we'll see who's going to fold and who's going to continue to grow. But, I think the one thing I will say about our specialists from top to bottom, I think we're very talented. I think we have some great competitors. I think we got guys that are hungry to take the next step and that are buying in to the things we're doing on team. So we're really excited to get these guys rolling.
At returner, punt and kick, talking to Andy down in Vegas at Media Days, he said, hey, we're going to get our best guys out there. You may see George back there some. You may see Steph again, some of these guys. I mean, who do you see in right now in terms of the returners are going to be back there, and what do you think of that?
Yeah, you know what? We haven't done a ton. I think, I've seen Steph catch a couple. I've seen George. I've seen Ashton. I've seen, Cole Wright, the trail. I've seen a bunch of guys do it, but I think it's almost like the punter battle. It's like as this thing starts getting a little bit closer and the sweat becomes real, we'll kind of make a determination on who's going to step out there and be holding the ball for us and catching the ball for us when we get ready for the season.
With George, though, I mean, just knowing how important he is at running back, I mean, does that put any caution at all, putting him back there at kick return or wherever you would use him?
I mean, it does, but at the same time, you still got to play football, and it starts with game one. So we got to figure out making sure he's ready for game one, and then we'll move from there.